in 1991, and another one in 2004, building parish communities through better communication, which is right on topic. Thanks, Father Brian.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you for the privilege of being here this afternoon. Somewhat as an outsider, I come from Sydney. I'm a priest. I've worked for the last 27 years closely with bishops, but we'll put all that to one side and we'll try and direct our mind to the topic. And I endorse and join with the earlier acknowledgements of the traditional owners of this land and pay respect to elders past and present. This presentation is about forming young people for mission. Where do we form the young people who become Devitt and Elise and Vicky and so on? We start with the facts. We got the results of the last census. For the first time in history, the number of Catholics in Australia in absolute terms went down. Partly due to death of older people, but there's a whole complex number of reasons. Recently, the United States bishops, in considering the forthcoming synod of bishops, which is related to young people, took on board some research from the Pew Research Centre. 1 out of 3 people raised as Catholics in the United States have left the church, almost half before they reach the age of 18. These aren't people who don't go to church and still think they're Catholic. These are people who say they are no longer Catholic, which is unprecedented in the life of the church in America, and I think not much different in Australia. Cardinal Joseph Tobin of Newark, New Jersey, spoke to the bishops, and he talked about the increased amount of disconnected millennials is certainly a concern for us, as is the decline, delayed marriage, etc., a whole lot of social issues related to young people. But then he goes on to say, this is a time to learn from youth and young adults, to listen to their stories and engage them in authentic dialogue. We remember that youth and young adults are not the agents. We remember that youth and young adults are the agents, not the objects of this process and of this synod. So they have as much at stake in this as we do. Further, we can involve leaders in youth, campus, adult ministries, all those who connect with youth and young adults here at work. So my question for today's discussion is, how can we as a missionary church, and I head up Catholic Mission in Australia, the 4 pontifical mission societies, how can we as a missionary church engage with today's young people? So we've got not long, but I want to confine my comments to 3 themes. Firstly, that mission is about peer-to-peer engagement. Secondly, that a sense of belonging is a precursor to living the faith experience. And thirdly, that social action stimulates both a sense of belonging and an experience of faith. Vatican Council changed the way we think about mission. We've moved away from the stereotype, the white priest, brother, sister going off to remote places to convert the pagans. And that's not to devalue the extraordinary courage and commitment of the missionaries of the 19th and 20th and earlier centuries. We have to recognise that the church they planted in many places, of course, is now flourishing. But we have to think about what the Second Vatican Council said in the document on the missionary activity of the Church at Gentes, and in paragraph 1, it talked about missionary activity and to rally the forces of, and I emphasise, all the faithful. Council said the Church is missionary by its very nature, and then paragraph 3 gives a more detailed explanation of the role of the lay faithful in mission. Pope Francis in Evangelii Gaudium spoke about youth ministry, paragraph 105. Then he said the rise and growth of associations and movements, mostly made up of young people, can be seen as the work of the Holy Spirit, who now blazes new trails to meet their expectations and their search for a deep spirituality and a more real sense of belonging. He launched a publication called DOCAT. Some of you may have heard of it, a Catechism of the Church's Social Doctrine. And here's what he said. He said, when I invite all of you now, this is to the launch, the people he was speaking to really get to know the social doctrine of the church, I'm dreaming not just about groups that sit under trees and discuss it. That is good, do that. But my dream is of something greater. That's what Pope Francis says. I wish I had 1 million young Christians, or even better, a whole generation who are for their contemporaries. This is what he says, walking, talking, social doctrine. Nothing else will change the world but people who, with Jesus, devote themselves to it, who, with him, go to the margins and right into the middle of the dirt, get into the politics too and fight for justice and human dignity, especially for the poorest of the poor. All of you are the church. Make sure then that this church is transformed, that she is alive because she allows herself to be challenged by the cries of the dispossessed, by the pleading of the destitute, and by those for whom nobody cares. The modern world of social media, of course, has transformed the way in which people, and especially young people, communicate. The major challenge is the way in which social media then is rapidly developing. A priest friend of mine told me the story how 7 years ago he asked the leader of the youth group to send an email. 7 years ago, and the young lady said, look, email, no one uses email anymore, that's old technology, you need to use Facebook. And then he told me the story that 7 years later he says to the people in the youth group, we need to do something and we need to use Facebook. And the young lady says to him, well, Facebook's where you really post cute photos, you know, that's now, I must say. I wasn't sure about that. I asked the 20-something young people in my office about that. They said, Facebook's still got its place, and I've heard some comments about the use of Facebook, but where will we be in 2 years' time, 5 years' time, 7 years' time in terms of social media? So, Cardinal Daniel Donato, President of the US Conference of Catholic Bishops, said this very recently. Young people today who are so ubiquitous on social media think that they can connect with people on social media, which can happen. But you find simultaneously incredible loneliness. But the seed of the difficulty is the seed of the solution. We have to dig into where that loneliness is and show them a Jesus who can accompany them. So this peer-to-peer evangelisation takes many forms. I mentioned social media just as one example. Its superficiality is a limitation, but its reach and influence is powerful. And mission is about engagement, and the best evangelisers of young people are other young people. I'll talk a little later about the immersion experience that Catholic Mission runs for young people, but that's just one example of the potential for peer-to-peer evangelisation. Australian youth meet other young people in other places who bear witness to Christ. They're committed to improving their own lives, they're passionate about social justice, and that makes a powerful impact. So that's my first thing. Mission is about peer-to-peer encounter. My second theme is about ensuring that we understand that belonging is the precursor to faith. Then people say sometimes that if you've got a strong faith, you'll have a strong sense of belonging in the church. I dispute that. I think we need to reverse the proposition. It's a strong sense of belonging that becomes the foundation for faith. Again, the Pew Research Centre published an analysis of religious practice in the study in Central and Eastern Europe. Different ways in which people are religious. 3 words: believing, behaving, and belonging. Different ways in which people connect or don't connect to religion. Do they believe in a higher power? Does it affect their behaviour? Do they pray? Do they perform rituals? Do they form part of a congregation or a spiritual community or religious group? And the research suggests that many people around the world engage with religion in one of these ways, but not necessarily all 3. It said that Christians in Western Europe have been described as believing without belonging. That's a phrase coined by sociologist Grace Davey in a 1994 profile of Great Britain. She said there's widespread belief in God, but it coexists with largely empty churches and a very low rate of participation. In East Asia, it's a different paradigm, what one might call behaving without believing or belonging. According to one major ethnography study conducted, many people in China neither believe in a higher power nor identify or belong to any religious group, but they'll go to a Buddhist or a Confucian temple to make offerings and get involved in some sort of ritual. So they behave, but they don't belong and they don't believe. Many Central and Eastern Europeans, on the other hand, might be described as believing and belonging, but without behaving. Many adults in that region will believe in God, they'll identify with Orthodox Christianity, strong sense of belonging, but the conventional measures of Christian religious behaviour, prayer, worship, are very low. So this interaction between believing, behaving, belonging is complex and highly culturally conditioned. And at a conference in March this year I attended at the Lateran University in Rome, there was a very interesting young German researcher, Linda Durig. And this is what she said, and offered this analysis of the connection between belonging and faith. And she drew on some research from the Gallup poll. This is what she said. One of the main findings of Gallup's research is that the relevance of congregational engagement in relation to an individual's spiritual commitment, the congregation's spiritual health, and therefore its vitality, the sense of belonging an individual experiences, is the prime mover for his or her personal spiritual growth. And the mentioned outcomes, life satisfaction, a sense of giving, a sense of serving, of inviting, the causal connection is reflected like this. The conventional wisdom is believing leads to belonging. That is, the deeper one's faith, one's spiritual commitment is, the more likely it is that he or she will desire to belong to a congregation, engagement. But Linda's research, drawing on the Gallup poll material, says that the reality is just the opposite. It's the belonging, the engagement, that leads to the believing, the commitment. So, if you want your members to become more spiritually committed, help them to become more engaged. And it's against that background we explore what the philosophy of Cardinal Joseph Cardijn might offer in developing a contemporary strategy for promoting young people's engagement with the Church and their role in peer-to-peer evangelisation. And the advantage of speaking at this penultimate session, you've had 13 voices before mine, is that you are now well instructed in many aspects of what Joseph Cardijn promoted. I won't repeat that, but I just offer this one summary paragraph from the CIJOC website. The extraordinary insight and belief of Cardijn was that this organisation had to be in the hands of young people themselves, by them, for them, among them. By them, an organisation in which young adults are given the responsibility and the opportunity to exercise their hidden talents. For them, an organisation in which young people are at the service of other young people. Among them, an organisation that seeks to be present whenever young people meet, live and work. It groups together young people who are representative of their peers. And so it goes almost without saying that what the groups and what Cardinal Cardijn's methodology promotes is engagement, and which I have suggested is what deepens faith. Which brings me then now to my third theme. That social action stimulates both a sense of belonging and an experience of faith. So I go back to my experience of YCS in Sydney in the 1960s. YCS flourished for a while. YCW, as many of you know, never quite took a foothold in Sydney. There are reasons for that someone might want to ask a question about. But See, Judge, Act is fundamentally a call to action. It's not just any action, but an action founded on experience and reflection, including reflection in the light of the gospel. And so a basic strategy for building community is to have people do things together. You think of the social service organisations, Lions, Rotary, voluntary networks, the Vincent de Paul Society, the Catholic Women's League, any number of examples of people having a common cause or engaging in common action and developing a strong network of friendship and community in the process. Young people in a YCW group or YCS group together, work together, develop and implement a plan of action that will strengthen their engagement with each other and the broader faith community. So one way in which Catholic Mission now will seek to embrace a similar approach is through what we will do with the young people who head off on our various immersions. We organise for young people through their schools to go to places, East Timor, Cambodia, Philippines and the like. The immersion program is a peer-to-peer process of evangelisation, creates a belonging in the church that's larger than how people in Australia experience when they come into contact with a community in another country, and a different vision of what it means to be church. It challenges them to action. They're faced with the local daily life challenges, often related to the simplest of needs: nutrition, health, employment, opportunity and the like. These are people who become friends, and they're compelled by empathy to work and think about unjust global structures. They have an experience that moves them, and we have to do something to ensure that that experience flourishes. And here there is that natural fit with the Cardijn spirituality and groups. Catholic Mission was involved with YCS in 2012. There was the End Child Detention Coalition, and YCS led as spokespeople for the launch events in the media. Refugees and children in detention was the focus of the campaign for 4 years, and they are actively engaged. Part of delegations to politicians in June 2015, and they were on fire with this work. And the older people in my organisation, when they gave me some briefing about this, said how much they were in awe of what was achieved, of the energy and freshness that only young people could bring. So what we're doing at the moment is to look for ways in which we might extend that connection, exploring ways in which we can tap into those who've had the experience through our immersions, but also the broader contact we have through our diocesan directors with schools and young people in schools, and to see what we can do to develop a lifelong engagement with faith, with a like-minded community that will provide structure and support. And can I finish with one paragraph from Archbishop Charles Chaput of Philadelphia now, before you react badly to who I'm quoting, because he's not my favourite Archbishop after his visit to Toowoomba. But we don't play, I don't know whether this is a common comment for your sort of football, but in my sort of football, we say that you should always play the ball, not the man. We'll forget about who said what I'm about to quote and just listen to what was said. He says, listening and accompanying is a pastoral style quite different from patriarchal style of teaching and directing. The pastoral style recognises that young people are adults who cannot be forced